Welcome, rare gems. Have you ever met someone whose presence feels like it carries a secret the world can't quite touch? Sigma females are among the rare ones God has set apart, not with loud displays or constant attention, but with qualities so deep they cannot be imitated. What they carry is not bought, borrowed, or taught. It is placed within them by design. These women are not shaped by comfort. They are shaped by the storms they have faced, the choices they have made when no one was watching, and the quiet strength they built in moments when giving up seemed easier. Every scar they carry has been turned into wisdom. Every test they've faced has refined them into something unshakable. God doesn't hand this kind of spirit to just anyone. It is given to those who will protect it, grow it, and use it to make a difference without losing themselves. Sigma females are proof that you can walk through life's toughest seasons and still keep your light. If you are one of them, understand this. You are not behind, you are not missing out, and you are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend into a world that thrives on sameness. You were meant to live with intention, to see beyond the surface, and to carry a strength that quietly shifts everything around you. What God placed inside you is rare. And rare things are never found everywhere. So, rare gems, let's dive into 14 reasons why God trusts you. Number 1, the ability to rebuild from nothing. If she loses everything, she will start over without self-pity. Most people think strength is about never falling, but true strength is in how you rise after you've been knocked down to the ground. For a Sigma female, the ability to rebuild from nothing is not just a skill, it is a way of living. She knows that life can change overnight. One moment you have stability, plans, and comfort, and the next you are left with empty hands and a choice to make. Where many would get stuck in bitterness or self-pity, she refuses to let her losses define her. She understands that possessions can be taken, relationships can end, opportunities can disappear, but what truly matters is what remains inside her. That is her real wealth. Her discipline, her mindset, her skills, and her willpower are things no one can strip away. Imagine a woman who loses her business after years of hard work. Most people would spend months replaying the failure in their heads, blaming themselves or the world. But a Sigma female takes a different approach. She allows herself to feel the sting of loss, but she does not live there. She starts drawing up a new plan, learning from what went wrong, and taking small steps toward rebuilding. She knows that even if she is starting from scratch, she is not starting from zero, because her experience has already made her richer in ways money never could. It is this mindset that allows her to face uncertainty without fear. She trusts her own ability to create, to adapt, and to rise again. That is why losing everything does not break her. It only forces her to prove to herself how powerful she really is. The truth is, not everyone can handle starting over, but for her it is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new chapter where she writes the ending on her own terms. And that, more than anything she could own, is what makes her untouchable. Number 2, the strength to carry truth even when it isolates her. There is a certain kind of strength that is not about physical endurance or how many challenges you can face. It is the strength to carry truth even when it costs you comfort, relationships, and belonging. For a Sigma female, honesty is not something she uses only when it is convenient. It is part of who she is, even when it places her on the outside looking in. Most people have been in a situation where telling the truth would make things uncomfortable. It could be speaking up at work when a decision is being made that you know is wrong. It could be telling a friend something they do not want to hear because you care more about their growth than their temporary approval. Many people stay quiet in those moments because they want to keep the peace or avoid being disliked. But she does not bend that way. Carrying truth is heavy because it often leaves you standing alone. People may call her difficult, blunt, or even unkind, not realizing that her honesty comes from a place of integrity, not malice. She would rather have a smaller circle that respects her for who she is than a larger crowd that only accepts a watered-down version of her. Imagine a family gathering where everyone pretends a long-standing problem does not exist. She will be the one who calmly points it out, not to embarrass anyone, but because ignoring it will never fix it. She knows her words might make the room tense, but she also knows truth is the first step to change. This kind of courage is rare because it demands that you put principles above popularity. She understands that truth is not always welcomed, but she carries it anyway because she could not live with herself if she stayed silent. That is what makes her presence powerful. Even in isolation, she stands firm because to her, losing people is far better than losing herself. Number 3. A compass that points inward. Some people need constant applause to know they are heading in the right direction. The Sigma female is not one of them. She carries a compass that points inward. It does not swing wildly with public opinion, nor does it depend on the approval of a crowd. Her sense of direction comes from knowing exactly who she is when the lights are off and no one is watching. This inner compass is why she can make choices that confuse others. Picture this. Everyone in her circle is chasing the same goal because it is trending, because it looks good on social media, or because it promises instant rewards. She takes a different route, one that might look slower or less glamorous, but it aligns with her deeper purpose. People might whisper or question her decisions, but she does not flinch. She knows where she is going, even if no one else can see the map. It is not that she rejects attention. It is that attention is never her guide. Imagine a sailor navigating by the stars. While others are guided by passing ships and noisy harbors, she is guided by the constellations she has memorized. Her principles, values, and self-awareness are those constellations. They remain steady, no matter how stormy the sea becomes. This way of living demands courage because it means saying no to opportunities that do not align with her core. It means turning down invitations that pull her away from her real work. It means walking away from people who try to steer her toward a life that isn't hers. God did not gift her with the loudest voice in the room, but He gave her something far more enduring. A quiet certainty that cannot be shaken by trends or temptations. This is why she can step into unfamiliar territory and still feel at home. Her compass is not for sale, not for rent, and not for negotiation. It points inward, always toward the truth of who she is. And because she trusts it, she ends up exactly where she is meant to be, even if the path there makes no sense to anyone else. Number 4. The eyes to spot what will break before it breaks. A Sigma female has a gift that most people overlook until it saves them. She can see cracks before they turn into collapses. Her mind works like a finely tuned radar, scanning for the quiet signs that something is about to fall apart. While others are distracted by appearances, she notices the tiny shifts that predict a bigger problem. This is not paranoia. It is awareness sharpened over years of watching how life unfolds. Take relationships, for example. She does not just listen to what someone says. She pays attention to the small changes in tone, the hesitation in their words, the inconsistencies between what they promise and what they deliver. Long before the bond shatters, she already knows it is weakening. And because she sees it early, she can decide whether to mend it or walk away before the damage runs too deep. It is the same with systems and plans. If a project at work has a flaw that everyone else ignores, she will catch it. She might not call it out immediately, but she will be ready when it fails, or she will quietly fix it before it ever gets the chance. This foresight is not about controlling everything. It is about respecting reality enough to prepare for it. Even in daily life, she senses when someone's cheerful front is just a mask for deeper struggles, or when a seemingly solid opportunity has hidden traps. Think of her like an architect who can spot structural weaknesses in a building just by walking through the halls. Others see beauty. She sees the beam that will not hold. God gave her this perception not to make her cynical, but to make her wise. She avoids unnecessary disasters not because she is lucky, but because she reads the signs before the storm arrives. While others are still asking what went wrong, she has already moved to safer ground, ready for whatever comes next. Number 5. The energy that drains the fake. A Sigma female has a presence that makes pretenders uneasy without her even trying. It is not about attitude or confrontation. It is about the way authenticity has a silent power that drains the strength from anything fake. People who rely on charm without substance, or who wear masks to hide their true intentions, find it hard to keep up their act around her. Imagine a stage actor trying to perform under a bright light that exposes every flaw in their costume. That is what it feels like for someone who is pretending in her presence. She does not call them out or embarrass them. She simply shows up as her real self, and that alone makes their performance feel heavy and unsustainable. This is why conversations with her often feel different. She listens without the need to flatter. She speaks without the need to impress. She asks the kind of questions that go deeper than surface-level talk. If someone is used to shallow attention, this depth can feel unsettling. They start to sense that she is not buying into the script they are selling. Even in everyday situations, at work, in friendships, in family gatherings, her steady authenticity has a way of shifting the air. People who are genuine relax around her. They feel lighter because there is no game to play. But those who thrive on pretending find it exhausting because they have to keep their mask from slipping under her quiet gaze. The beauty of it is that she does not set out to expose anyone. She is simply grounded in who she is, and that truth is like sunlight. It makes real things grow and forces fake things to wither. God gave her this gift, not so she could judge, but so she could move through life without being entangled in falsehoods. And in a world full of performance, that is a rare and quiet form of power. Number 6. The ability to detach without becoming bitter. A Sigma woman has a rare gift that many admire but few can truly master. She knows how to let go without letting it destroy her peace. Walking away from chaos is one thing, but doing it without letting the hurt turn her heart cold is a level of discipline that feels almost impossible for most people. Think of it like leaving a house that has caught fire. Some people run out but keep looking back, coughing from the smoke, angry at what they lost. A Sigma woman leaves, closes the door behind her, and refuses to carry the smoke in her lungs. She understands that holding on to resentment only keeps her tied to the very thing she escaped. In everyday life, this shows up in ways that seem subtle but are deeply powerful. A friend may betray her trust, and while others might spend months plotting revenge or replaying the betrayal in their minds, she simply steps back and moves forward. She does not spend her nights crafting the perfect comeback or scrolling through their social media to see how they are doing. She has better things to do with her time and her spirit. This is not because she feels nothing. On the contrary, she feels deeply. But she refuses to let pain become her identity. She knows that bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Her strength is in the clean cut. She does not drag the past into her present. She will learn the lesson, take the wisdom, and then leave the rest where it belongs. This ability to detach without bitterness is not weakness. It is spiritual discipline in its purest form. It means her joy is not at the mercy of anyone else's actions. It means she can lose something and still keep herself whole. And in a world where many people are walking around carrying the weight of old wounds, a Sigma woman chooses to walk light. That is what makes her unshakable. Number 7. An instinct to prepare for endings even in the middle of beginnings. Most people step into something new, whether it is a relationship, a friendship, or an opportunity, believing it will last forever. A Sigma female walks in with her eyes wide open. She allows herself to feel joy, to love fully, and to give her best, but she never forgets that nothing in life is promised. This is not because she is cold or detached. It is because she has learned that life can change without warning, and clinging too tightly often makes loss even more painful. This instinct is not about expecting the worst. It is about staying grounded in reality while still enjoying the present. She can fall in love with someone and still know that people can drift apart. She can pour her energy into a career and still accept that companies close, industries shift, and priorities change. Her ability to hold both truth and tenderness at the same time is what keeps her balanced. Imagine planting a beautiful garden. You tend to it every day, knowing that one storm or a change of season could wipe it out. You do not stop caring for it just because it might not last forever. You still water it, nurture it, and enjoy its beauty while it is in bloom. That is how she approaches the things and people she values. By preparing for endings, she frees herself from the desperation that makes so many people hold on long after something has died. She can let go with grace, without resentment or bitterness, because she never pretended permanence was guaranteed. It allows her to love without fear and to walk away without falling apart. In a world where so many either cling too tightly or never risk opening up at all, she chooses the rare middle ground. Open hands, open heart, steady mind. Number 8. The pain threshold of a warrior. For a Sigma woman, pain is not a stranger. She has walked through storms that most people only hear about. Life did not hand her an easy path, and she has long understood that this was not by mistake. Every challenge she faced shaped her, every loss carved strength into her, and every setback built a resilience that cannot be faked. Her pain threshold is not just about the physical. It runs through every layer of her being. Emotionally, she has endured heartbreaks, betrayals, and disappointments that could have made her bitter. Instead, they made her wise. Mentally, she has faced moments where everything seemed impossible, yet she kept pushing forward when giving up would have been easier. Spiritually, she has stood in the silence of unanswered prayers and still kept her faith alive. Think of a time when someone you know was crushed by one failure and could not recover. A Sigma woman might experience 10 failures in a row and still rise the next day ready to fight, not because she does not feel the pain, but because she has learned how to carry it without letting it break her. This is the difference. She does not deny her pain or pretend it does not hurt. She simply refuses to let it define her. If life knocks her down, she takes a moment, gathers herself, and gets back up. The world rarely sees the night she cries in private, but it always sees the way she shows up in the morning, steady and unshaken. Pain for her is not just something to survive, it is something to master. She understands that every battle scars her, but those scars are proof that she made it through. She does not wait for life to be gentle. She has learned to be strong enough to face it as it is. The truth is, a Sigma woman's pain threshold is not about being unfeeling. It is about being unbreakable. She knows that storms will come, but she also knows she has the spirit of a warrior, and warriors do not bow to the wind, they stand. Number 9. A brain that doesn't just think, it constructs worlds. A Sigma woman's mind is not just a place where thoughts come and go. It is a workshop, a design studio, a laboratory, and a battlefield all in one. She does not stop at thinking about ideas. She takes those ideas and builds something tangible out of them. Her brain is not satisfied with what is. It is constantly exploring what could be, and then figuring out the steps to make it real. Give her a problem, and she will not only solve it, she will create 3 better systems to prevent it from happening again. While most people are content to daydream, she turns her visions into blueprints, and those blueprints into reality. It is not about wishful thinking. It is about strategic imagining. Think of a time you have seen someone decorate a plain room into a space that feels alive. A Sigma woman does this with life itself. She can take an ordinary situation and shape it into something extraordinary because she sees possibilities where others see dead ends. If a project fails, she does not walk away. She redesigns it until it works. If an opportunity looks too far-fetched, she breaks it into smaller, achievable steps until it is no longer impossible. Her imagination is not a soft, dreamy place. It is an engine that runs on focus and persistence. Even when others doubt her, she keeps building in her mind piece by piece until her vision is too solid to ignore. This is why she is dangerous in the best way. She can reinvent herself without warning. She can turn a setback into a launching pad. She can take a small spark of an idea and construct an entire reality around it. A Sigma woman's brain does not just think. It creates, it organizes, it engineers. And once she builds something in her mind, it is only a matter of time before the world sees it standing right in front of them. Number 10. Spiritual independence. A Sigma woman's spiritual life is not something she simply accepts because someone told her it was true. It is something she has walked through, wrestled with, questioned, and rebuilt until it became hers. She was not made to blindly follow a script written by others. Her beliefs are not a hand-me-down. They are the result of her own search, her own moments of doubt, and her own experiences that tested her to the core. For her, faith is not just a set of rituals or words spoken out of habit. It is alive. It has been through storms, arguments, and sleepless nights. She has faced seasons where nothing made sense, when the easy answers everyone else seemed to hold did not work for her. Instead of pretending, she dug deeper. She asked the hard questions people often avoid. She explored, learned, unlearned, and learned again until she found a connection to the divine that was unshakable because it was real. It is the difference between someone who lives off borrowed light and someone who has learned how to make their own fire. She does not cling to belief because she fears losing it. She holds it because she has tested it and found it strong enough to stand. Her spiritual independence means she can respect others' beliefs without needing to copy them. She can listen without being swayed by every new idea, and when she stands on her convictions, it is not out of stubborn pride but out of certainty forged through experience. This is why her faith is not fragile. It does not crumble under pressure. It has already been through pressure and come out sharper, purer, and stronger. She knows where she stands because she walked every step to get there. That is why her spiritual life is hers alone, unborrowed, unforced, and unbreakable. Number 11. A soul that doesn't beg, it builds. A Sigma female understands something most people spend a lifetime chasing. She knows that worth is not handed out like an invitation, and value is not measured by who notices you. She carries the kind of soul that refuses to sit in the corner, hoping someone will open a door for her. Instead, she rolls up her sleeves and starts building her own. Picture a person waiting for a bus that never comes. Most people would keep checking the road, hoping it appears. The Sigma female. She starts walking toward her destination. If the bus arrives, fine. If it doesn't, she will still get there. That is her mindset in life. She does not wait for someone to choose her for a role, a relationship, or a position of influence. She creates her own opportunities, even if that means starting from nothing. This is not arrogance. It is a deep knowing that no one else is responsible for her fulfillment. While others might waste time wishing to be noticed, she invests that same time learning, building, and creating. If she wants a career move, she studies the skills and makes herself ready. If she wants a certain lifestyle, she works and saves until she can shape it with her own hands. And because she moves this way, people often assume she is fearless. The truth is, she feels fear like anyone else. The difference is, she doesn't let fear be the reason she stays still. She trusts that progress is built one step at a time, even if no one claps for those first steps. In friendships, in love, in work, she is not standing at the door waiting to be welcomed. She is somewhere else entirely, building something that belongs to her. And when it is complete, the world does not see someone who was given anything. They see someone who carried God-given strength and turned it into a life she didn't have to beg for. That is her quiet revolution. Number 12. An emotional firewall. Some people are like open windows. Every breeze of emotion sweeps through and takes control. The Sigma female is different. She has what can only be called an emotional firewall. She feels as deeply as anyone else, but she refuses to let feelings take the steering wheel of her decisions. This is not detachment, it is discipline. When life throws chaos at her, she does not instantly react. Imagine a heated argument at work where tempers are flaring and voices are rising. While others rush to defend themselves or throw blame, she pauses. She listens. She lets the dust settle in her mind before speaking. That pause is not weakness. It is her greatest strength. It keeps her from saying words she cannot take back or making decisions she will regret. This control is not born from being cold or unfeeling. In fact, the Sigma female often experiences emotions with intense depth. The difference is that she treats those emotions like powerful waves, beautiful to watch, but dangerous if you try to swim without skill. She stands on the shore, understanding the tide before stepping in. Think about a friend who suddenly cuts her off, or a project she poured herself into that fails. Where others might spiral into self-pity or lash out in anger, she lets herself feel the sting, but she does not camp there. She processes, learns, and moves forward with clarity. Her emotional firewall protects her from manipulation too. When someone tries to provoke her just to get a reaction, they are met with calm steadiness. This often leaves manipulators frustrated because they cannot get inside her head. God gave her this rare balance, heart and mind working together instead of fighting for control. It is the reason she can love without losing herself, face betrayal without falling apart, and make hard choices without being paralyzed by fear. In a world where emotions often run the show, the Sigma female's ability to feel deeply yet remain in control is a quiet kind of power. It is not loud or showy, but it makes her unshakable, and that is why she stands out without even trying. Number 13. The ability to outlast storms without announcing her strength. Some people measure strength by how loudly you fight back, how much you shout about your pain, or how openly you display your scars. A Sigma female's strength is of a different kind. She has the rare ability to outlast storms without making a grand announcement about it. Her resilience is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted, and most of the time, no one even knows the battles she has been fighting. Life has a way of testing people when they least expect it. Jobs disappear, relationships break, health falters, and plans collapse. Many will broadcast their struggles to the world looking for sympathy or validation. She chooses another path. It is not that she is afraid to be vulnerable, but that she understands not every wound needs an audience. She processes her pain privately, deals with her challenges directly, and keeps moving forward without making a spectacle of her strength. Picture a woman who is going through a divorce, raising her children alone, and juggling 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. She is exhausted. But when you see her in public, she greets you with warmth and composure. You might think her life is smooth because she carries herself with calm certainty. What you do not see are the late nights spent balancing bills, or the mornings where she has to gather herself before facing the day. Her way of surviving is not about roaring through life, proving something to the world, or asking for applause. It is about endurance. It is about making it through the hardest days without letting them destroy her spirit. The storms she survives shape her in silence, and when they finally pass, she emerges stronger. Not because she shouted over the thunder, but because she stood still and refused to be swept away. That quiet strength is her greatest armor. Number 14. Unbreakable self-respect. For a Sigma woman, self-respect is not something she wears like an accessory. It is the very foundation she stands on. It is so deeply rooted in her spirit that even when life throws rejection her way, she does not crumble. She understands that rejection is not a reflection of her worth, but often just a mismatch of paths or timing. This is why you will never see her begging for a seat at a table that does not value her presence. She will simply find another table or build her own. It is not pride that drives her, it is clarity. She knows who she is, what she brings, and what she refuses to accept. Picture someone offering her an opportunity but attaching conditions that require her to compromise her values. Many would try to adjust themselves just to be accepted. She would politely decline, even if the offer looks tempting. She understands that losing herself is too high a price to pay for temporary approval. In friendships and relationships, this shows even more. If someone tries to belittle her or treat her as if she is replaceable, she does not waste her energy trying to convince them otherwise. She will simply remove herself, not in anger, but in certainty. She knows her worth does not rise or fall based on someone else's opinion. Some might mistake this for arrogance, but it is not. Arrogance inflates the ego. Self-respect protects the soul. And for a Sigma woman, that protection is non-negotiable. This unshakable core allows her to take criticism without losing confidence and to walk away from unhealthy situations without losing faith in herself. It gives her a quiet strength that people may not fully understand, but they feel it when they interact with her. God didn't give her a spirit that needs constant validation. He gave her the kind of self-respect that feels like solid ground under her feet. No matter how strong the winds of rejection blow, she remains standing. And in a world where so many bend to be accepted, a Sigma woman remains unbreakably herself. In final words, have you ever wondered why some women carry something so rare that you cannot quite put it into words? Sigma females are not defined by noise, trends, or the constant need to be seen. What they carry is not something the world can give or take away. It is something God placed deep within them. This is not about perfection. It is about depth. It is about a kind of strength that is not loud, but is felt. A peace that comes from knowing who they are and what they stand for. A mind that thinks beyond the surface. A spirit that has been refined by challenges and still chooses to rise. These women do not stumble into their power. They are shaped by moments that tested their patience, their faith, and their endurance. If you are a Sigma woman, you already know that the world may not always understand you, but that is not your loss. What God gave you was never meant for everyone to understand. It was meant to guide you, protect you, and help you build a life that is true to you. So trust the gift. Trust the way you see the world differently. Trust the instincts that tell you when to move and when to stand still. You were given a rare blueprint, and only you can bring it to life. Remember this. Your value does not come from being like anyone else. Your strength is in being exactly who God designed you to be. And that, more than anything, is the reason you will never be ordinary. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.